The tragic story of Magdalena Maggie de la Riva. Magdalena Maggie de la Riva was a prominent Filipina actress in the 1960s, known for her rising stardom in television and film. However, her career took a tragic turn on June 26, 1967, when she became the victim of a brutal crime that shocked the nation. On that fateful night, after completing a late-night recording session, de la Riva was driving home to her residence in New Manila, Quezon City, accompanied by her assistant. As they approached her home around 4:30 a.m., they were intercepted by 4 young men, all from wealthy and influential families. These men, Jamie Jose, Edgardo Aquino, Basilio Pineda Jr., and Rogelio Canal, abducted her at gunpoint, dragging her from her car and forcing her into their vehicle. In the golden era of Philippine cinema during the 1960s, few names shone as brightly as that of Magdalena Maggie de la Riva. A gifted actress with immense talent, Maggie captured the hearts of many with her performances on screen. However, her life took a harrowing turn on June 26, 1967, when she became the victim of a brutal crime that shocked the nation and changed the course of her life forever. Into Maggie's illustrious career, the tragic incident that occurred on that fateful night, and its lasting impact on her life and the broader society. Rising stardom in the 1960s. Maggie's journey into the limelight began at a young age. With the heart-stopping charm of a rising star, she quickly secured roles in films and television series, earning acclaim for her beauty and acting prowess. Audiences were captivated by her performances, leading to a string of successful projects that solidified her status as one of the most promising actresses of her time. As she basked in the glow of stardom, Maggie was not only a beloved figure in entertainment, she also represented hope and inspiration for many young Filipinas aspiring to pursue their dreams in an industry dominated by societal expectations. Her roles often mirrored the struggles and triumphs of Filipino women, allowing her to resonate deeply with her audience. With each film, she showcased her versatility, deftly handling both dramatic and comedic roles. Maggie de la Riva was more than just an actress. She epitomized the rise of women in Philippine cinema during a time when repressive attitudes were prevalent. The night of the crime. On that June evening in 1967, Maggie had just wrapped up a late-night recording for a television show. Excited yet exhausted, she was driving home to her residence in New Manila, unaware that her fate was about to take a horrifying twist. As she navigated the streets, her car was intercepted by 4 young men hailing from affluent and influential families. What followed was a disturbing sequence of events that would leave an indelible mark on Maggie's life. The young men, driven by a sense of entitlement and a complete disregard for human dignity, unleashed a torrent of violence upon her. Maggie was subjected to a brutal assault that not only shattered her physical sense of safety but also left psychological scars that would haunt her for years to come. The incident was a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities women face, regardless of their status or success. Aftermath and its impact. The news of Maggie's ordeal sent shockwaves throughout the country. It wasn't merely the brutality of the act that sparked outrage, it was the underlying social narrative regarding privilege, power, and the treatment of women in society. The media coverage was relentless, shedding light on a crime that should have never transpired. As Maggie bravely stepped into the public eye to share her story, she became a symbol of resilience, inspiring many victims of violence to raise their voices against injustice. However, the aftermath of that night was not easy for Maggie. While she sought justice through the legal system, she faced the harsh reality of a society where wealthy individuals often evaded accountability. Her fight for justice highlighted systemic issues within the judicial process and the challenges faced by victims of sexual violence.
Despite the personal toll it took on her, Maggie's courage helped pave the way for conversations around women's rights and safety in the Philippines. Details of the crime. The men intercepted de la Riva and her assistant Helen Calderon near her home, causing a collision that allowed them to seize her. She was held down by her limbs and neck, threatened, and raped by each of the 4 men in turn. After the assault, they warned her not to report the crime, threatening further violence if she did. Aftermath and trial. De la Riva bravely testified in court, leading to the arrest and conviction of all 4 perpetrators. The trial began in July 1967, and the men were sentenced to death by electrocution. The executions took place in 1972. The case became a landmark in Philippine history for its impact on public awareness and the legal system, highlighting the vulnerability of women and the accountability of powerful individuals. The Maggie de la Riva case remains one of the most significant criminal trials in Philippine history, remembered for the courage of the victim and the precedent it set for justice. Years have passed since that tragic night, yet Maggie de la Riva's legacy endures. She emerged from her ordeal not just as a survivor but as an advocate for change. Using her platform, she raised awareness about violence against women and the need for societal change regarding how victims are treated. Her story encouraged legislative reforms and increased support systems for women facing similar circumstances. Today, Maggie remains a pivotal figure in discussions surrounding women's rights, empowerment, and the ongoing fight against gender-based violence. Her life reminds us that while fame can bring many rewards, it does not protect one from the darker facets of humanity. Yet, in the face of adversity, Maggie's resilience shines through, illustrating the strength of the human spirit. In reflecting on the story of Magdalena Maggie de la Riva, we honor her not just as an actress but as a beacon of hope and a force for change. Her journey is a testament to the enduring struggle for justice and equality, encouraging all of us to stand against violence and advocate for a society where everyone feels safe and valued. Maggie's experience led to changes in the country's legal system, including the passage of laws to protect women from violence and ensure stricter punishment for perpetrators. Maggie de la Riva's story remains a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against injustice and fighting for gender equality and women's rights. She continued her acting career after the trial and became an advocate for victims of sexual violence, leaving a lasting impact on Filipino society. The crime escalated as they took her to a nearby motor hotel, where she was subjected to gang rape. This heinous act was not only a personal tragedy for de la Riva but also a significant event in Philippine history, as it highlighted issues of class privilege and violence against women. The case garnered extensive media coverage, making it one of the most publicized criminal cases in the Philippines at the time. Following the abduction, de la Riva bravely decided to come forward and testify against her attackers, despite facing intense victim blaming and societal pressure. The trial began on July 11, 1967, and concluded with the conviction of the 4 men involved. They were sentenced to death by electrocution, marking a pivotal moment in the legal landscape of the Philippines regarding sexual violence and the accountability of perpetrators, particularly those from privileged backgrounds.
Maggie de la Riva's case not only brought attention to the plight of victims of sexual violence, but also sparked discussions about justice and the treatment of women in society. Her courage in the face of such a traumatic experience has made her a symbol of resilience and advocacy against sexual violence in the Philippines. On June 26, 1967, her life took a harrowing turn that captivated the nation and altered her destiny forever. Uncover the details of her struggle against adversity and find out how this sensational star's legacy continues to shine. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories.